Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Conversations with A'Driana LaFaye. Sorry, decided to want to do something different today. Um, okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about not necessarily just my health journey, but I wanted to talk about why women, especially Black women, are dying at a higher rate than any other class, like when it comes to health issues. Like if you have heard anything about the women give even giving birth, like in the century that we're in right now, you would think that there shouldn't be that many deaths. But for some reason, Black women are dying at a higher rate than anyone else when it comes to birth rate. Um, but I'm saying all that to say, uh, I was listening to Trevor Noah, The Daily Show, recently, and Dulce Sloan was interviewing some women, and they were talking about how when women go to the doctors don't really take them seriously, especially Black women, and that it's extremely important, like, with the women's suffrage and what have you. Like, we've always had to struggle a little bit more, but I don't know where that comes from or why people demean women as much as they do. So just a little background or what have you. I used to have extremely painful periods. Like, I got my period very young. I think I was like 9 or 10. And for a while, it was just, it was just there. But then when I hit my teen years, like 15, 16, they started becoming very painful. The older I got, the more painful they got. And it was getting to the point where when it was that time of the month, I couldn't go to work. I could barely, move. Um, so found a great doctor, and she realized that I had fibroids. So okay, at that point she said they weren't that big, so, and there weren't that many, so she didn't feel like it was anything we needed to really worry about. Fast forward, some years later, I've had two children, and the my cycles are not getting any better. They are still very, very painful. So I found another doctor, and we ended up getting those fibroids removed. Well, in the process of getting them removed, she realized that that's when she found out at that point that I had endometriosis. And if you don't know what endometriosis is, it basically occurs when tissue that should line the inside of the uterus, the endometrium, it grows on the outside of it instead. So even though the tissue is on the outside of the uterus, it still acts like it should during the menstrual cycles. That means at the end of the period, this tissue will break apart and bleed. However, the blood from this tissue has no place to go. Surrounding areas may become inflamed or swollen, and scar tissue and lesions can develop. The most common site for endometriosis is the ovaries. WebMD. But yeah, so she found out I had that, and of course, we started so many different medications to try to get that under control, and it wasn't getting any better. And what actually ended up happening is, uh, fast forward a couple more years, I ended up, um, when my cycle would come on, it would cause me to have shortness of breath. And my doctors couldn't figure out how that shouldn't have been related, basically. Like, there should be no reason why you have a cycle, but you're short of breath, and you end up in the hospital almost every time. So I got a pulmonologist, and we were doing x-rays and x-rays. Come to find out, my endometrial tissue, instead of coming, I'm trying not to be graphic because I don't, I know a lot of different people, you know, watch, and so I don't want to be too graphic. Okay, but instead of the endometrial tissue coming out like it should, some of it was going back up, and it was actually going into my lung pipe, and it was causing my lungs to collapse. So almost every month my right lung was collapsing, and that's why I was having hard time breathing. um we went on like this for a little while, and then I was referred to a surgeon, and she was just basically saying that she just not did not understand how I was sitting there talking to her, because at that point I only had two-thirds use of my lung. It had just been collapsing so much that it was barely, yeah. So um I had that surgery, where I think it's called pleurodesis, where they inflate your lung so that it can re-adhere to the wall cavity. Um, and that was great. That helped. I no longer had the issue with the collapsed lung, but I was still having the painful periods. I was just like, you know what? I done had all the children that I want to have. At this point, I think we should just go ahead and take it out. So yeah, I had a hysterectomy, and needless to say, only thing I deal with now is hot flashes. You know, but all that to say, I remember times when in my earlier years when I was going to the doctor and we were trying to figure out like why it is so, what is going on. There was one time I remember going to my gynecologist, and she was just like, you know, you are just bleeding way too much. I'm gonna send you to the emergency room. So it's okay. That sounds like a plan. Got me in the emergency room, got me admitted, got me a room, and I am just curled up in a ball from like crying, curled up in a ball, like terrible, right? The doctor comes in. I'll never forget this. The doctor comes in and he's like, what's going on? Why are you here or whatever? So I'm explaining to him, what's going on, why my gynecologist just, sent me here. And he was like, well, I mean, they're cramps, right? I mean, it's just cramps. I don't understand why you needed to come here and waste a bed. There are people who need it more so than you. Like you're it's just cramps. I'll prescribe you some pain medication, but I'm discharging you. Just cramps, huh? Yeah. If only I could remember what that doctor's name was, because I would love to put him on blast. But honestly, I feel like too, going to a male doctor, I don't I don't see how there's any way that you could be a gynecologist and be a man and understand how I'm feeling. Can I just say that without it coming out as I'm being mean or whatever? Like, as a man, how do you understand what cramps feels like?
What I need from you
As a
is
man, how do you understand what it's like to have a period?
understanding.
Oh, okay. Well, then, so yeah, all that is gone. I no longer have issues with that. But for women who still want to have children, it's a real thing, and it's still an issue. And I just feel like as women, we have to fight, and not even just as women, as everyone. A lot of times you'll tell a doctor how you're feeling or whatever, and they'll just be like, "Oh, well, it's not that serious." But we have to take control of our health, guys. Like, especially us women, especially us Black women. If we have to get forceful, we have to get forceful. I'm not saying like physical or what have you, but no, we need to, this is our health. If we're not going to take charge of it, then no one else is. And if you have to keep going to different doctors until you find the right one who is serious about your health, then that's what you have to do. At the end of the day, we cannot continue to put our lives in their hands if they don't really have that care that we need them to have. Um, I just think about all the doctors that I went through until I found the last two gynecologists I had until I got to this one were great. They were really focused on trying to find out what was wrong and what was the resolution for it. And it wasn't always just straight to medication too. They did talk to me about several things. And so that's what we're gonna have to do. Take control of our health, take control of, what we're going through. And if you're telling your doctor what you're experiencing, what you're going through, and they're dismissing you, then either you no, you need to listen to me, or okay, and then you go somewhere else. Like we're just this. It's 2021. We shouldn't still have to be experiencing this or dealing with this. Like that's just ridiculous. Um, and if your doctor has told you what you need to do, if it's something like lose weight or eat right or exercise, I mean, do your part. Do what they're asking you to do so that you can be healthier as well. Don't just put it all on them too. If there's a regimen that they're saying that you is going to benefit you, then try that. And if it doesn't work, okay, doc, that didn't work. What else you got? What else can we try to? What kind of game plan do we have right here, right now? But do not take your health for granted. Life is only a vapor. We are not here for eternity. We have to treat our temple, our body as a temple, and we have to do all that we can um, to take care of it. And doctors are here for a reason. Unfortunately, you do have some that don't care, or just maybe they're overbooked or overworked and are just like here for a minute and need to get to the next patient. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in their head. I don't know. But it just is not a good feeling when you are experiencing things and the doctor is dismissing you like you have a problem, like you just don't can't handle pain. You just it's all in your head. That's not a good feeling when you are experiencing this. You know what you're experiencing and you know it's not in your head. um then don't stop. If that doctor's dismissing you, okay, then fine, we'll go to another doctor. But you have to take control of your health. And it's not even just about the endometriosis. I have family members who have fibromyalgia, and a lot of them say that the doctors don't even want to diagnose them with it because they don't feel like it's a real thing. I don't understand that thought process of I'm explaining to you what I'm going through, but you're dismissing me and you're telling me that I'm not experiencing it. I don't understand that. Um but yeah, we have to take care of our bodies. And if you a lot of employers now have what they call as like employee advocacy or things of that nature, where they'll help you find it's almost like a referral service or something. Like they can help you find an attorney, they can help you find like the right kind of doctor or what have you. Just check with your employers and see what they offer, what type of programs and things that they have. um, and then if you have a great, say you have a great dermatologist, don't be afraid to ask, hey, who do you see, who's your primary care, or who's your your derma, whatever. Don't be afraid to get referrals from them too, because I'm pretty sure they're not gonna uh, take chances on their health. So guys, I really, really like this is so dear to my heart because I suffered with that for over 15 years, like 20 years really. I mean, the more I think about it, it was a long time, and that is just it's a long time to be in pain. It's a long time to not be able to enjoy your life because of this one thing that comes, once a month, but it's once a month lasting, you know, 7 days, and it's 5 of those days is heavy. It's so sad. Like, guys, there were times where, okay, this one's when I was, working, going to work. I was my commute was like with traffic. I would leave. I said my commute was like a hour plus, right? So I'm doubling up. Women, you know what that means. I'm doubling up. I get to work and like a waterfall. Okay, that's fine because I've doubled up, right? I'm prepared. No, no, not at all. Yeah, I mean, it was getting to the point where I was having to bring a change of clothes, and that's not cool. It's really not. So it just after so many years of that, and then when it progressed to the shortness of breath and not being able to breathe, I believe that was the final straw. It became too much. So again, take your health seriously. Don't don't take your doctor's word for it if it's not there to help you. If your doctor is not willing to go the extra mile to try to figure out what's going on with you, it's okay to go to another doctor. It's okay to push them a little bit, but just don't give up, and don't just accept. I guess this is how it's got to be because it and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't have to be. Now, I mean, there was some illnesses and some things it is something that you have to deal with, but you still can try to find a doctor that is going to be there for you to help walk you through that process, and what ways can alleviate it as much as possible. I hope this has helped someone, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.